sports fans. I'm your host, Quinn Lowe.
And Antoine Jackson.
And we're here for Between Classes Sports. We're going to start it off a little bit different this week. We have to always focus on the local teams, and the team that's been burning up the charts has to be the University of Tampa women's volleyball squad. They were not challenged in the Division II championship this weekend. They posted a 3-0 record with wins over Kentucky State and Florida Southern to set up a match against number 21, West Florida. They were able to win its 5th straight Division II South region as they defeated West Florida 3-1 to advance to the NCAA Division II Quarterfinals. Members of the regional all-tournament team included Berkeley Whaley, Kaylee Patrick, Jessica Wagner, Marissa Lisby, Megan Burke. They now head to Cedar Rapids, Iowa on December 12th for the next region to face Concordia University. So keep those young ladies on your cheer meter and make sure you follow them closely.
Good luck. Stan Heath came with a victory this week with the USF Bulls with a win over Alabama behind a double-double from freshman Chris Perry. The University of South Florida's men's basketball team took control late and held on to a 66-64 win. Alabama, who was coached by Coach Anthony Grant, who came over from VCU, was a product from Coach Billy Donovan at Florida. Very well coached. He's been with Alabama for quite some time also. But, basically Stan Heath, they took over. They won the game. And right now USF is at 6-2.
They're 6-2. They're actually coming off a good win against George Mason, in which they were down, I think, 21 points.
Okay. So
for them to be able to show the resilience in that game, in addition to hanging tough for Oklahoma State early in the season, even though they took the loss for that one, it's setting that foundation for the men's program so that they can, as the season goes on, once we get into conference play, they play some good teams. They're starting to become battle tested.
They said they were going to be battle tested after we talked something after the Oklahoma State game. They said they want to be resilient.
Oh yeah,
be known as warriors. So shout out to the basketball team for trying to walk it like they talk it.
And we can't leave out the women's team.
Okay.
On Sunday afternoon, they knocked off Stetson University. So I guess Stetson really doesn't want to come back to the Sun Dome. That's 2 losses by the men's and the women's team, 72-68. Sophomore Courtney Williams dropped 22 points, and this gives them 5 wins on the season. So this could be a situation in which, depending on how the conference tournament works out, how the conference season goes, we could very well have both teams vying for NCAA berth. So fans better get ready, because this may be your chance to kind of see something special between the 2 coaches and the 2 programs. So just keep your eyes out and keep supporting the squads. We'll be back in a few after this next update.
Hello, my name is Toby Scott.
And hello, my name is Enrico Chow. And I'd like to congratulate all the new businesses out there, and from Chow Scott Keysake.
What we provide in the Tampa Bay community is we provide headshots, banners, business cards, and postcards.
And on our link, on our website link, you can also click the one that best fits you. And we'd like to hear from you soon.
Congratulations.
And we're back. I'm here, Antoine Jackson.
And I'm Quinn Lowe.
And we're here with Between the Classes magazine. And we're here to talk about USF, who got beat by Rutgers 31-6. I didn't really want to say that, people. But I don't really want to discuss what happened. I'm going to let the city of Detroit take control over it and, just lay it out and give it to you.
I mean, this has been, I guess, the culmination to a season. I'm going to use a quote from the head coach, Willie Taggart, where the bus finally broke down. This loss, a tough loss in the season. They had some moments throughout the year. I can recall the Houston game where they hung tough. Even the UCF game where they were leading late in the 4th quarter. But it's been too many situations where they've been inconsistent, and it continued tonight. Or it continued Saturday as they ended the season with a 31-6 loss up in New Jersey. Mike White, I guess coaches deciding to ride out with the freshmen, went 14-31. for 141 yards. I guess when you look at how bad the passing game has been, that's decent. But when you have no rushing game, 20 carries, 10 yards. Wow. Come on, dude. What's up with this? 10 yards? Marcus Shaw had been the workhorse the first 5 games of the season. He got injured against Cincinnati, and he could never catch it back up. He could never recover fully.
He never been back.
And I think that kind of set the tone for the rest of the season. And the defense could only hold the fort for so long. I mean, once again, going back to the UCF game when they were up, they forced 5 turnovers that game. They really didn't get the turnovers this game. And if they weren't able to kind of set the defense set the tone, even in the 2 victories they had this year against Cincinnati, and it
never really clicked.
It didn't click.
Hopefully, Willie Tiger, it's his first year, so he gets a pass.
Oh, definitely.
They're looking at, they say maybe about 2 years before they can look to see some, fruits of labor. But I know this: nobody wants to get on a broke down bus.
Right.
So,
I think he needs to take it, get an oil change, get some new tires. You might need a new bus driver, but it's just one of those situations where you got to realize. I think the best thing that he has going is he might have saw enough from the quarterback position, whereas hopefully some of the other wide receivers come up, step up with Andre Davis, and take over Andre Davis' spot. Find another running back to replace Marcus Shaw. Oh, a name I forgot to mention that actually had a good game. I think he had 2 sacks. Aaron Lynch. Where has he been all season?
He getting his stock up late in the season.
Right. This is a situation where he realizes, oh, I don't have that much playing time left. If I'm going to go pro, somebody got to have some tape of me doing something good. And he showed out.
Well, Willie, he's going to have to get a dual threat quarterback. First, I mean, in college football to be successful, I feel you have to have a dual threat quarterback. I mean, it's just, you got to have it.
But I don't even think it has to be a dual threat. Give me a quarterback that has the opportunity if he's elusive.
Well, just get away. Escapability.
Yeah, because truthfully, is Jameis Winston a dual threat quarterback? He's a quarterback that knows how to use his feet.
He can escape.
Right. And I think that's the thing with issues on the offensive line. If you don't have continuity there, or if you don't have the trust level, at least a quarterback, if you have a quarterback that can move, he knows if push comes to shove, I can run and get this 2 or 3 yards.
He can't be a statue in the pocket.
Oh, no. And that was the one thing that got us in trouble a couple of games. The Memphis game. Memphis had a quarterback that was elusive, gave him trouble. Florida Atlantic had a quarterback that could move, gave him trouble. So that's the one thing that you really have to look at when you have that option for that quarterback. If everything, like I say, if everything else all breaks down, I can still get the team 3 or 4 yards and take it from a second, make that second down more manageable. And I think that was the one thing that got USF in too much trouble often. They were always in 3rd and long, 3rd and 7, 3rd, 8, and 3rd and 9, and they could never get a bite.
So there's nobody who could have, put a quarterback and maybe see if we can get a spot.
Not on that roster. I mean, they went down to the freshmen.
But it's the state of Florida. I mean, you don't have one cornerback you can maybe put. I know it's not mad or anything like that, but you can't put a.
I guess not.
Something.
I mean,
just give me something.
And he mentioned after a loss, I think one of the losses to maybe I don't know who he lost to, but they mentioned having to possibly bring players over to the other side.
Did it?
Yeah,
Nick Marshall.
Yeah, because Nick Marshall was a DB coming out of Georgia.
Cornerback, DB.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I guess it's just one of those situations of which he really didn't see it on the roster. And maybe going forward, they can find somebody. But I always go back to the guy that they let go out of the state, Woolard, that ended up out of UCLA. Because he was a freshman quarterback, and I don't even think he's playing quarterback at UCLA.
I don't think Woolard didn't want to come to USF after the change. He young kid, probably went to California.
True.
Seeing the sun.
And I mean,
shades on.
And that's the problem. You gotta. Is he still gonna be able to find anybody that has some true talent? But when you look at it, they played teams that had quarterbacks from Florida.
Of course.
Houston quarterback was if not a redshirt freshman, he was a true freshman that lit him up. John O'Corn. And it's like, how did they let him get out the state when you see a team that has so many struggles at quarterback?
Well, the state's loaded. All I'm saying is something.
Right,
don't let the ship go down like that. I mean, I understand coaches, politics involved, but at the end of the day, if you got to find a spark, do what you got to do, okay?
Oh, definitely. And this is something that, as they continue to build with the recruiting season, hopefully they can find somebody. And I still haven't seen them put that committed title next to a position called QB, so they still having issues.
He got a dig. Willie got a dig. Boy, the good thing about it, he's from the area, so he knows where to go. So maybe you can get a couple of guys who, because a lot of players, from what I heard, they might not really want to come here. So he can go get, but you're loaded. You're in the hotbed, Willie.
Right.
So that's one thing. Don't even worry about that. There's plenty of kids on a scholarship. Go ahead and make the best of it.
Yeah,
we
but
just want some wins.
see, I think, but we've given this team too much airplay tonight. I'm sorry to be this blunt, but we didn't give the basketball team this much airplay, and they're winning. So we got to
football state.
So
it's a football
we
state.
got to take a quick break, and when we come back, the real football, the conference championship breakdown, who won, why they won. We'll see you in a few.
Definitely. We're back here, Antoine Jackson.
Quinn Lowe, and this week's conference recap is sponsored by C-Vibe.
Okay. We're going to talk about a little bit of high school championships going on this week. Plant High School lost to Apopka 45-29. Apopka Blue Daughters are looking to go back-to-back state champions. They're going to be playing South Dade. Also, Arnwood versus Miami Central. Must watch Dalvin Cook. This is the guy, he's the talk of the state. Everybody wants to see him. Florida State and Miami are battling to get this guy. It's going to be a show. Arnwood just came out of overtime. They won in overtime. We're going to see what they're going to do. Also, we have American Heritage versus Clay. American Heritage has running back Sonny Michelle, who's committed to Georgia. They've been talking about this guy since he's in 8th grade.
I'm new to getting into the high school Florida recruiting, but a lot of those names I've heard even before I got down here. Arnwood is near and dear to my heart because I actually have one of my kids I mentor plays Kyle Gibson, who's committed to Vanderbilt, is on that squad. So got to keep a close eye on him. 4-star according to ESPN. So there's some good championship games coming up this weekend. So good luck on all you youth high school sports enthusiasts.
And this isn't the first time Arnwood and Miami Central have met in the state championships either. So they're a little familiar with each other.
And that makes the competition that much more heated. So even though the players may not be the same, I guarantee the coaches know tendencies, the coaches know habits, and we're going to see some things that normally wouldn't work, that normally will work against other teams, not going to work because we see this coming. So
we got to get it out.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But time to get on to the next level, that college football. First up, got to go down. Staying in the state, we're going to the ACC. What can I say? Duke, thank you for coming out. Had a great season. But even played a good first quarter. Forced a couple of turnovers. Had Jameis flustered a little bit, but floodgates opened in that second and third quarter. That's 38. Yeah, 38 unanswered points. Ended up final score being 45-7. Jameis, famous Jameis, future Heisman winner. I'm already calling it. First of all, I don't know why they have 6 finalists, because this should just be Jameis. Just invite him to New York, put his name etched on the trophy already, and send it to him. So it's just one of them situations. But I think what the issue is, and you can hit me to this, you got some people out there that still are holding on to this drop rate case and are holding them against them. Because we've already heard about a writer,
not guilty,
a writer from Connecticut voting the running back from Boston College #1. So they're holding against him. He had made his vote before they dropped the charge, before they decided not to put charges against him. So I'm like, dude, what's going on? You know this shouldn't impact him, but
you're gonna have your bias.
Yeah, always. And you're gonna have some because the finalists, it's a couple people I might leave off. It's Jameis Winston from Florida State, Jordan Lynch from Northern Illinois, a quarterback, AJ McCarron from Alabama. A surprise guy that I really didn't.
Who's the other running back they said?
From Auburn,
Trey
Mason, and I think he got put on the ballot after this game against Missouri, and we'll get to that in a minute. He rushed for 300 yards. So it's one of those situations. Yeah, it's one of them situations in which normally you may only have 2 or 3 guys. I guess it was so jumbled, it was so spread out outside of Jameis. They had the vote was so undecided that they had to bring some other guys in and give them opportunity. I'm not mad at the guys that know they don't have a chance. This is a free trip to New York, get to sightsee, get to interact. So
you gotta take
advantage of it.
You gotta take advantage of it.
But back to the game, Jameis was 330 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. The three-headed monster at wide receiver, Kelvin Benjamin, Kenny Shaw, and Rashad Green. 15 catches, 260 yards. That right there is going to be the deciding factor against Auburn. Who is going to stop these boys?
Well, see, this is the reason why we go to the state high school championships, because Kelvin Benjamin, he's from Belgrade. Rashad Green went to St. Thomas along with Thomas Joyner. St. Thomas standouts. Yeah, you have Devontae Freeman. He had 300 yards in state coming out of high school. Jameis Winston, he's loaded with talent. The defense, they have Jernigan, Timmy Jernigan. I'm not a Florida State fan, but Jernigan is just a nasty guy.
Yeah, they're loaded.
Mario Edwards Jr.
Right.
He's out there. So dude, they played tough, hard. But at the end of the day, they had to go. Like my friend Mr. Austin would say, Duke. After the game, when they started getting a little chippy, cheap shots.
Right. My
boy say, take this beating like a man and stop with the cheap shots.
Definitely.
And Florida State went to 10 off, and I heard they separated somebody's shoulder, because they hit Jameis late.
Yeah.
And the Florida State, you can't do that right now because
this our money boy. Yeah, this we got championships on the line.
You can't do that right now. So Florida State, they're coming. They're real around the team. But the one thing about Auburn and Florida State, which many people are saying now, out there in the Alabamas, Louisiana, Georgias, Tennessees, they're pro Auburn. They're War Eagle.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They're War Eagle, and Alabama people are trying to say right now that Alabama has the best football because they've had a team in the championship 5 years straight.
5 years in a row, and it's hard to dispute it, and that kind of leads us into the SEC championship where Auburn defeated Missouri, the Battle of the Tigers, 59-42. While Nick Marshall didn't have the outstanding game, you got to give it up to Trey Mason. 46 carries, 304 yards.
What was Missouri doing with this three-man front?
I have no idea.
This is front.
Of all games
against Auburn. You're gonna put 3 men on the line. Now, I'm not a D coordinator or offensive coordinator, but Auburn, you cannot have 3 men at the line.
Yeah, this is a situation where you have to Missouri has to put themselves in a better situation where you have as many big bodies to kind of clog the middle and make sure you let your linebackers and your safeties prevent that option opportunity. Because as we see, Marshall didn't get off, but they were gashing him. They were gashing him up the middle. And it wasn't one play, then they stopped for the next 3 plays. It was play after play after play. Anytime he wanted to get yards, he got it. And he wasn't the only one.
You give me 3 men up front, I might go get
250. So
that's not Trey Mason.
That's 5 guys up front blocking 3. Not to mention if you keep a fullback in, if you got a tight end chipping in, that's potential 6 guys blocking 3 guys. Because the linebackers were going to get absorbed behind the defensive line.
So who you like in the chip?
I got to ride out with them boys from Tallahassee. Because this is a situation where, and I'm going to be real, I grew up a Michigan fan, but Florida State was my second squad because of Ron Simmons, the wrestler. We were talking about wrestling earlier in the conversation before the show started, and that's why when I first found out he went to Florida State, I'm like, oh, black wrestler. That's all I looked up to. So I was like, okay, I'm going to Florida State. Until I found out how much out-of-state tuition was, and I was like, oh, never mind. But I've always kept an eye on the Seminoles, whether it was from Charlie Ward, whether it was from Derek Brooks. All these guys, they've had that machine, and it's just now they're getting back to that situation where this is Florida State football.
They need a championship back. I mean, the program's pretty thirsty. They haven't had a championship since '99. They've been hearing it throughout the state. Gator fans and Hurricane fans have been telling Seminole fans, act like you've been there before.
Right.
You were the last one with a championship. Be humble a little bit about the situation. Floridians feel like, how dare Alabama say...
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But, I mean, at the same time, we know that's Alabama. So, we do understand it. But we feel like we run football. So, it's going to be a problem January 6th.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's going to be a good matchup. And I think the spread started off at 9.5 so far, and this is an opportunity where it may get to that point, and it wouldn't shock me. But we got to take a quick break, and when we come back on the other side of this break, we got some more of the conference championships. We got Baylor versus Texas, even though it wasn't a championship game. That gave Baylor the championship. We got Stanford versus Arizona State, and up in my area, Michigan State versus Ohio State. So we'll see you in a minute.
Yeah, Oklahoma State was knocked off by Oklahoma.
Right.
once again, Antoine Jackson.
Quinn Lowe with Between Classes Sports. And next up, we got to get into Baylor, Texas. Now, under any other circumstance, this wouldn't be a good game to cover, but we just realized today this was the last regular season game for head coach Matt Brown, who stepped down today as University of Texas head coach. Now, if you've been following the show, we said a couple of weeks ago that there's one person that may be interested in this job. Wife was home shopping. They're trying to still deflect the information, but when there's smoke, there's definitely fire.
The door is cracked.
And the question is, will Saban step into it? I mean, even right before the show aired, we saw some preliminary talks about Alabama throwing some more money at him, but
I don't think they got enough money to throw.
Right. The number I was hearing was $10 million from Texas.
$10 million a year?
Yes. And in addition to the fact, you have to realize, if he goes to Texas, he's the king of the state,
Live
the pick of the litter, and do whatever. Because even though he's getting paid, he may get paid $10 million. There's going to be some other benefits that Alabama cannot provide.
But they can't touch it.
And coming off that disappointing loss, where you saw a lot of Alabama fans
really
kind
show
of
their true colors.
Yeah, whether it was the young lady that shot her homegirl because she wasn't enough of an Alabama fan, that's unfortunate. I saw a guy on Craigslist after the loss.
He's so lawless. Have you seen that?
Yeah, so all his Alabama. I'm like, dude,
what are you doing? This is legendary stuff.
I'm like, you
guys
guys
won
have
3 out of the last 4 championships. This college football fan starving, and you throwing it all out the window.
This is the perfect example of spoiled fans who aren't used to losing. I'm like, dude, this is a game, and I could see if they lost that game to Auburn where they weren't even in the game. It was a fluke play. So you take that punch in your chest and say, okay, we're Alabama, we'll be back next year. Y'all got us this year, we'll be back. But their Alabama fan base is acting like they got embarrassed.
Some of them say they wanted to fire Nick.
Right. I'm like, for what? I guess the play was kind of skeptical.
He asked for the second back, but
yeah,
he won 3 out of the last 4 chips.
Yeah, and I still would win the overtime.
I would probably win the overtime. But it was a 57-yard kick.
Right, from a kicker that I think had made attempted 2 field goals.
He was catching hell all night.
Yeah, but no, because they had a different kicker.
I don't care who it was. They couldn't find one.
Right.
And they definitely he wasn't the right one either.
True. But we got to get back into this Texas game. Mac Brown, last Big 12 game, did not end well. And partly because the same issue that they've been having all season. No offense. 217 total yards. Trey Mason trumped them with rushing. So how can you, a Texas offense, a Texas program that's had Colt McCoy, Vince Young, countless other, Ricky Williams, countless superstars on offense.
And then bring Jameson in for a visit.
Right.
And that didn't sit well with
Thank you. He wanted to go to Texas. He wanted that Texas offer. They was like, we good. Yeah. Didn't offer Andrew Luck. Didn't offer RG. They want to make RG3 a DB. So you have all these quarterbacks that end up having some success elsewhere. Wanted and got 0 looks from Texas.
They wanted Texas too, right?
Yeah.
Football.
And look at the quarterback play. Case McCoy, I guess that family love from Colt, they thought they was going to get the second incarnation. Didn't happen. 12 of 34 for 54 yards. 54 yards passing. What's going on? 2 interceptions. At least I guess I give credit to Malcolm Brown. He held his own rushing for 131 yards. So he did his job. But
I seen the team tried to fight hard, but they just didn't have enough. Whatever it is, they didn't have it. I didn't see that. But I haven't seen the effort, but they just didn't have it.
And I think reason why Baylor didn't blow the doors off them because of weather. It was cold weather, kind of frigid. They weren't used to it, but Petty got off 287 yards. They still felt it because I guarantee that 30-10 wasn't that close.
They felt it.
So they had two running backs from Baylor over 50 yards. Lake C. Strunk, who was the Oregon transfer after all that stuff that happened out there with improper benefits, he came home. Glasgow Martin had 102 yards rushing. So they got some balance and they got some production. So it's going to be interesting to see how Baylor does in the Fiesta Bowl against the local upstart program of UCF Knights. Great season. Upset Penn State. Should have beat South Carolina. gave Louisville and Teddy Bridgewater their only loss of the season.
They had a couple of close ones.
Oh yeah, they
dog fight with USF, dog fight with Temple.
Yeah, and I think they only beat even though it didn't matter, they only beat SMU 17-13.
SMU almost knocked it off. So they better be careful going to the Fiesta. I'll tell you like this, UCF fans, you're going to the Fiesta Bowl, think you're gonna eat some Doritos. Baylor will run that score up to 80 or 90 on national television on you. They will run it up. And
we've seen too many situations where that cute upstart back at the end BCS team gets embarrassed.
Baylor coming to play. Baylor
last year was Northern Illinois against Florida State. So you guys better be prepared, because if it gets ugly quick, those TV monitors will turn off, and you won't see another opportunity like this to be on the national spotlight for a long time.
Baylor licking their chops right now.
Definitely.
They're licking their chops. It's not much respect for the UCF program.
Right now. And there's a lot of people in Waco saying if it wasn't for the fact that Lake Seastrunk was hurt against Oklahoma State, they would still be undefeated. Because they were missing. I mean, you take one of their top running backs from any of your teams, it's going to be a struggle. And that kind of threw off the offense. So there's some people still feeling Baylor has one of the top teams.
That was
Oklahoma State. So, So it's one of those situations where
Baylor would have been undefeated. Would they have been playing the national championship?
I don't even talk about that. This is one of those situations where it's still that argument is. I mean, when you still have people arguing the fact that even if Ohio State would have won and been undefeated, that they would have wanted to put Auburn above Ohio State.
I can see why not.
And I can too, but
it's hard to disrespect Ohio State like that.
It'd have been too hard if Baylor's undefeated for them to jump two undefeated teams. Now, whereas both teams play skeptical schedules, but you can't justify that just because of SEC bias. So it's just one of those things
where you got a 14 playoff next year.
Oh, and I guarantee it's gonna be a 15 outside looking mad. It's gonna be the number 5 team gonna be mad.
You gotta start somewhere.
True. I mean, and that's why I can't get mad at it.
I'm glad we got 4.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got 4.
And that's the one thing. And
slug it out.
Oh, definitely. And speaking of slug it out, we got to go to Stanford, Arizona State. This is a disadvantage to Stanford because the game was in Arizona State's backyard at their stadium.
It didn't look like it.
No, but they came out, played in typical Stanford fashion, and won the game 38-14. Held
Arizona State's running back. He was out this game.
Yeah, the starting running back was out, so that kind of did
that hurt.
That hurt them a lot.
He's pretty electric.
But one thing that Stanford's been known to do, even with Jim Harbaugh was there, tough defense, good running game. Tyler Gaffney put up 133. They only allowed 311 total yards of offense against Arizona State. So, and they held them to 5-16 third down completion. So it was a tough game, and this is going to be a good matchup.
They play Michigan State.
Michigan State in the Rose Bowl because both powers. It's mirror images, same team. When you got defensive coach, running backs that have stepped up and showed out when a lot of people didn't think.
Michigan State was the number 1 defense in the country.
Oh yeah, and there was a people. Honestly, I'm glad you brought that up. There was some people in Columbus saying, "Oh, that ranking is kind of watered down. They ain't played nobody." But we see what they did, and even though
they had been passing the eye test all year with flying colors.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I think it's one of those things where if you're a fan of the other team, you always got to find reasons to stick that jab in.
They didn't look like the team that was too attractive, but by the time the season was over.
And that was the one thing. That game was a perfect example of ebbs and flows. Michigan State got out to a 17-0 lead. And I'll be honest, even as a Michigan fan, I was sending tweets, emails, all my Ohio. It's a wrap. Y'all might should just go ahead, start crying now, send it home.
They cried though.
Oh yeah, but Ohio State fought back. 24 unanswered points, and that shows how big of a beast Braxton Miller is. When I saw him his freshman year, I knew this guy was going to be dangerous. It's just, I think with him, he still needs to kind of tighten up his passing game because this game, definitely, I don't think he's pro material. Right. Even if once he graduates, I don't see him having too much success. Because even Troy Smith was a better quarterback than him.
He looked like Alex Smith out there, kind of, sort of, with the throwing.
Yeah, but I don't think he's not as accurate, and that's the problem because between this game and the Michigan game, because Braxton was only 8 of 21 for 101 yards this game.
What about Carlos? How you feel about Carlos?
Oh, Carlos is a beast. And this is that Florida boy.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. When you look at a guy that's 5'11", 6 feet, 232, and that can get it. Truck man.
Minivan.
And that's and he did his job. And actually, Braxton had held his own, rushing for 142 yards. So it was just they couldn't get going.
It was stuck in cement.
Right.
Sometimes it moved, and sometimes the offense was just.
Oh yeah, and Michigan State, Connor Cook took advantage of the opportunities.
And his game breakers up with the Spartans.
Right, and this is something that we hadn't been seeing all year because wide receivers have been dropping the ball, and when they decided Keith Mumphrey, McGarrett Kings held onto the ball, they made the play.
Those guys from Michigan, where they from?
Mumphrey, I think, is from Michigan, but McGarrett Kings is from Georgia. So Michigan State is realizing to compete on this next level, we got to go get some of these boys from the South, and they've kind of set up shop in Georgia. They got a couple they got maybe 4 or 5 guys on their roster from Georgia, and they're recruiting that area. And it may not be the 4 and 5 stars, but they're finding those sleeper 3 stars that may not have that Georgia offer, or may not fit the Georgia Tech offense, and some of the SEC schools not looking at, and they're fitting, and they see, okay, we can go to Michigan State and eat.
Great.
So it's going to be a good matchup between them and Stanford. It's still too close to call right now. Holler them in a couple of weeks when we do the show before we tap into the bowl season. Because this is, and as a Michigan fan, you already know how I feel even rooting for these boys. But they showed and proved.
Michigan State been busting heads.
Oh yeah, definitely. And after that 29-6 bull whooping, they put them on Wolverines.
I mean, it was some people saying from a mile away, Michigan State was going to beat Ohio State.
Oh yeah, I was. If you saw last week's show, I picked them, and it was one of those situations where I saw too many deficiencies in Ohio State's offense and defense. Where if somebody punched them, and they could withstand Carlos Hyde, which they did, and they had enough speed and they had enough that tenacity.
What was the freshman at number 1? Did he get hurt or something like that?
I don't know if he. I guess this was the backlash to the fight against Ohio State, against Michigan, because I don't think he played. Jordan Hall got a couple of rushes, but he's been hurt most of the season.
I didn't see my boy.
But Dontre Willis, that's what you're talking about.
He's tough too.
He didn't, and I think that's the one thing going forward, because Hyde is a senior, so they got to find. I think Myers really proven this year that he can use a big back, but he still benefits a lot.
Well, where do you think Carlos going?
It all depends on how they grade running backs, because he has first round talent, but we know how much they started to devalue running backs now that aren't special, and he's not that AP special. He's not that Matt Forte special. He's still a good enough back where whoever drafts him can make him a starter and he's gonna eat. But after seeing what happened with Trent Richardson in Cleveland and now him struggling in Indianapolis, a lot of people kind of gotten soft.
Lose some weight.
Yeah, that too. I mean, I think he could play with the 2-back systems in the NFL. Now, I think he can get away with playing with somebody else. Now, if somebody was drafting him to be the focal point, yeah, he may struggle. But if you put him with, Buffalo, let Fred Jackson go, you put him with C.J. Spiller, nice Thunder and Lightning. So that's what I said, those type of situations where you can, he may only have to get 10 to 15 carries and just make them hard carries. And I know I got
Carlos. I like Carlos. Carlos run tough. He run hard. He passed my eye test.
Definitely.
See where he's drafted at. See who pick him up. But Carlos is a tough back. He got that respect this year, definitely. So.
But we've been talking about this for a minute. Time to take another break. And when we come back, I guess it may be time to close the show.
Once again. Back Between the Classes magazine, Antoine Jackson,
Quinn Lowe,
and we're here to talk about what's going on. Basically, with the women's HCC basketball team, they won in the Florida JUCO shootout, 68-63, and also they won another game, 63-59 versus IRSC, and they defeated TCC also, 68-63. And basically, the women are doing pretty well with basketball this year, and hopefully they continue on. The men, they have a tournament this weekend coming up. The men's basketball tournament, ACC team, they have basketball coming on. So, basically, good luck to the men. Now,
on to University of Tampa basketball. The men's were in the Eckerd tournament out in St. Petersburg. In the first round, they played Armstrong, and they defeated them 60-42. 47. I'm sorry. In the second game, they played Puerto Rico Bayamon, and they also won that game 73-66. The next game for them was December 7th against Barry University. They took that one on the chin, 73-71. December 18th, they played Dominican of New York at 7 p.m. So if you're in the area, you have nothing else to do, go check out and support one of your local universities doing big things. As far as the women, December 7th, they took on Barry as well, and they won 69-53. On December 16th, they have an upcoming game, so check out the schedule and see if there's anything that you want to do and support that squad. But it looks like we're at the end of another show.
Once again, another one in the books.
I mean, it's sad to say it's at the end of college football, except for the bowl game. So
Go by fast.
yeah, college football goes fast, and
all the time.
normally under these type of circumstances, we'll be getting ready for the cold weather. But being in Florida, it's 80 degrees, so
the benefits. So Michigan
definitely.
fans, he's basically saying, eat your heart out.
Definitely.
You know, he's in the shade.
Truthfully, right now, I got some shorts on under this table while you guys are up under layers and layers of clothes. So
in December,
don't be mad. But you're always welcome to go out to Arizona to watch Michigan play in the bowl game or go out to Pasadena. I heard those tickets are kind of pricey, but hey, when's the last time Michigan State went to the Rose Bowl? 88. So take advantage, break the bank, support.
Shout out to my boy Trevante Valentine winning state championship and Solomon Young High School recruits. Valentine, he's committed to Miami right now, but we'll see what happens. You know, signing day, anything can happen.
Oh yeah, definitely. And we also,
So, you know.
we're not going to leave out some of the Florida schools. Miami is taking on Louisville.
Oh, yeah.
In Orlando. Florida State, as we know, is in the BCS championship game. And UCF, we got to make the Knights proud. Head out to Arizona as they take on Baylor University in the Fiesta Bowl.
Miami versus Louisville is a battle for recruiting.
Oh, definitely. That's a game where Charlie Strong is definitely going to try to take more.
Over. He's going to try to take over the recruiting.
Right. And this is an opportunity for Miami and Al Golden to say, this is our state.
Nah,
Florida's down.
You can't get that.
And Florida's down and Florida State is high. It's an opportunity for somebody to sneak in as that number 2 squad in the state and reap the benefits. So we'll keep you posted as the season goes on, and we'll definitely keep you posted with the happenings in women's and men's basketball. So for Quinn Lowe,
Antoine Jackson.
see you next week.